This is the second video in the block design project. You can see we've created our 2x2x2 cube with our 1-inch hole centered, and we can see that it's labeled here as part 1. I'm going to click on the eye next to part 1 to hide this part, and I'm going to make all my parts for my assembly in the same drawing space. I'm going to, my next part is a 2x2x2 plane cube. I'm going to click on my sketch button. Again, I'm going to choose that front plane. I'm going to orientate myself using my navigation cube. I'm going to click on my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a 2-inch by 2-inch square. Then I'm going to come up to my extrude button. I'm going to change my depth of my extrusion to 2 inches. I can then look at my navigation bar, and I can gain perspective to see my 2-inch by 2-inch cube. Again, a trick that I can show you right now is you also can rename your parts. So I could name this plane cube. And I could right click on part 1. Rename. Let me unhighlight that cube. Re-highlight my first cube. Rename and call that block with circle hole. And again, that's not a necessity, but it's just, again, a way to kind of keep track of your parts later on for that assembly file. So I'm going to hide my parts 1 and 2, or my block with a circle hole and my block with a plane cube. And the next thing that we're going to look at is my next part is a 2x2x2 cube with a 1x1-inch square hole that goes all the way through it that is centered. I'm going to come back to my sketch, lay a sketch on the front plane, orientate myself by clicking on the navigation cube. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a 2x2 square. So again, 2 inches by 2 inches. I'm going to extrude this part 2 inches. I'm going to gain perspective by using my navigation cube. This time I'm going to lay down a sketch on that front face of the cube, not the plane, but the cube. I'm going to orientate myself, and I'm going to grab my rectangle tool again. On the bottom line here, I'm going to click and drag out my rectangle. I'm going to enter 1 inch and 1 inch. I'm going to come up to my dimension button. I'm going to click on my right line and the outside line of the cube here, and I'm going to dimension it 0.5 inches away, which will center this square. I'm then going to click on my extrusion. I'm going to click into that center region. I can see it's highlighted right there, that face of that sketch 5. I'm going to click on a removal, because again, I want to reverse the direction of this extrusion and remove the material, and type in 2 inches. If I look at my navigation cube to gain perspective, I now have that 2x2x2 cube with that square hole. I can come over to part 3 here, rename that by right-clicking and then rename, and I can type in block with square hole. And I now have my third part completed.